Well, we're right in the teeth of winter now. You look around and there's a lot more snow. Things have changed a little bit since the last time we were out bluegill fishing. But I'll tell you what, there are some tips and tricks that can help you catch them, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it this week on Fish Ed. There it is. Got him that time. I missed that fish once. He came up a second time and hit it. And, you know, you drop down on, oh, look at that gill. That's exactly what I came here for today. I want to show you something, and I want to tell you a little bit about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. You can see what I'm using. I'm using a rattling flyer spoon. Most people do not think of fishing a spoon for bluegills. And I'll tell you why they don't. It just looks too big to most people, but look at how this fish is hooked. I want to show you in his mouth. He's got all 3 treble hooks in there. A big bluegill like this one has no problem hitting a spoon the size of a 16th ounce rattling flyer spoon. And here's the reason he did it. You can tell, I mean, we've gotten into the heart of winter now, and there's a lot of snow on the ice. There's some slush underneath this snow, and it's dark down there. So what I'm doing is I'm giving him something a lot bigger, and it's got rattles, and that's what's bringing him in and getting him hot on the bait. Now, if I were sitting there like earlier this year, just bouncing a really small finesse presentation, number one thing I'd have to do is I'd have to land on more fish because I'm not going to bring them in from as far away. And number two, a lot of times you'll go through a lot of the smaller fish doing that. One thing when you fish a spoon, if you're out chasing big gills like that one right there, is you're going to get those big ones to bite because a lot of the little ones are just going to run for cover when they hear that spoon down there. That's a great way to start our day right there. Ooh, I missed him. Doggone it, I worked him a long time and there's 3 or 4 of them down there. And that one hit it good enough. I never should have missed that fish, but he might have just been hanging on the bottom. There, I got him that time. You know, one of the things about where we're fishing, this feels like another pretty good gill here. But oh yeah, look at that one. That's even bigger than that first one. Holy smokes. That's a monster gill right there. One of the neat things about where we're fishing though, is that this type of pattern in the middle of winter, oh geez, I almost dropped him right back in the hole. But this type of pattern, and I'm gonna show you this fish, get him feeling good, but you know, that's the kind of gill that I'm gonna let go, because boy, he's just a dynamite reproducer. That gill probably pushes 9.5, maybe even close to 10 inches. Probably more in that 9.5, but let's let him go and then let's talk about location here. Get out of here, buddy. There he goes. What's really neat about where we're fishing though, is this pattern's gonna hold up now for a long time. You know, what happens is earlier in the year, the fish are gonna work just those edges. And now I'm in a hole right here, but I've worked down to the bottom edge of the hole. Okay, earlier this year, I was up a little bit higher, maybe halfway up when we were out on first ice. But when you get to January now, what starts happening is these fish are down at the, you know, halfway down the edge of the hole, or down in the bottom, and they're a lot more predictable. And here's what's really neat. You know, we drilled about 10 holes this morning, and I'm on hole number 3, and we're getting after them pretty good. But what you want to do is do exactly what I did here when I started. I started down here in the hole, okay? And I drilled holes in the base of the hole, right in the bottom of it. Then I worked my way around, and I kept coming around, and you can see my sled path here. I followed it all the way around, and now I'm on an edge, and here's the school of fish. Now they're just gonna move back and forth here, so now I've pretty well got them cornered for the day. So keep that in mind. It's gonna help you drill less holes and get to those fish really quick. And hey, by the way, did you see that big bait and what it caught? That was a pretty big deal right there. Yeah, that's what I thought. They picked them all off of there. You know, you can tell when you sit and watch your flasher as to if maybe your bait's gone on these spoons, and I'll tell you why. Without that little bit of bait hanging from it, the fish just won't follow up and down, and a lot of times I try to bring them up and then I'll drop back down below them, and if the fish are still following it, you've got bait. If the fish stop following it, you've probably lost your bait, so reel up and check it. One other thing I want to show you, there's a little trick to how I tip these spoons to get these fish to actually eat their way all the way up that treble, and that is from every hook I hang a waxworm, okay? So I've got 3 of them hanging, 1 from every hook, but I'm gonna show you one thing that makes these fish really eat their way up. What I do is I put a worm on, a little waxworm on one tip, then I put it on the other tip, okay? Now when I've got 3 worms hanging there and then 1 going horizontally, what happens is if they pick their way up these off these hangers, they still see that other one up there, and that's how they end up all the way over the treble hook. So run tip to tip on top of chandeliering those things, and you'll catch a lot more of them. There it is, guys. Sometimes, I mean, you just got to pay attention. I looked away, you know, it's so beautiful out here today with the snow in the trees, and I looked away and I looked back and there was a fish on that bait. He came in from the side and there he is. We got him. That is so cool when they'll bite like that. There's a good eating gill right there. One of the things I want to talk about though, when it comes to working a spoon for panfish, and this guy, he's going to go home with us. But working a spoon for panfish, it's one of those deals where you don't want to work it too hard, okay? Now, when I'm out walleye fishing, I'm working this rattle fire spoon, I'm spending a lot of time working this thing. I'm bouncing it, I'm making it fling out to the side and do a lot of stuff with it. But when I'm fishing bluegills, what I'm doing, and you can watch the rod tip when I'm doing this, I'll set it down and I'll just jiggle it. And then when I see a fish come in, I'll just jiggle it a little higher, and then every now and then I'll just go down and tap bottom with it. But it's very, very subtle. Those rattles are just kind of going tick, 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 instead of bang, bang, bang down there, okay? Because what happens is bluegills, they're curious, they'll come in, but bluegills are also a tentative fish, so you don't want to put too much action on it because you can actually spook them. So if you sit there and just kind of tick it and just barely move it, and then every now and then when a fish is on it, do what I did there. Just stop. Just stop and give them a chance to go ahead and grab it, and 9 times out of 10 you'll get them. And you know, again, look at how many hooks are in that bluegill right there. There he is. Oh! Oh! There are so many fish underneath us right now that you miss them just because you get hit so often. There's one on there right now. Look at that. Look at that, boy. This is just too much fun, just one after another. Well, this guy, he came in from the side again, so that spoon actually pulled him in. Oh, look at that one. See if I can get him in here. I got him tangled up in my transducer. Look at that gill. Holy moly. That thing's a monster. You know, these big gills will bite big baits day in and day out, but especially when you get to this time of the year. And I think the key to the catch today was simply quickly locating the fish. Drill those holes deep, work your way along the edge, but fishing big baits. If you fish big baits, you're gonna catch gills like that all day long. You know, you take a big fish like this, and all said and done, they live in a lot of bodies of water, but they feed differently. And if you don't drop down what it is that they want to eat, you're never gonna know they're there. Hey, for more current and up-to-date information, check back with us next week on Fish Ed.